Alright, this is a quick tutorial on how to use Trellis for Draw.io. Do npm start in the root directory of the repository, of course once you've built it. Alright, we're going to start a new diagram. Okay, first thing you need to do is make sure that your plugins are installed. Mine are installed. If not, you go here, you select them, click OK, 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 OK. Very important, when you're developing, when the project is in development mode, in order to install the plugins, you have to actually close here. If you go to the command prompt and do Control C, they will not be installed. So that's very important. Then once they're all installed, we can add a module. Then we can set as a garden module. Select our city and units. Click OK. Now make a little bit of space here. Okay, now we can right click. This is supposed to happen automatically, but we can create it manually. Garden dashboard. Now over here, this will tell you all the general stats for your garden. The first thing we're going to want to do is click plan. We're going to want to select some crops that we want to grow. Add the crop. Alright, it's going to automatically fill in the longest feasible harvest window. Then we're going to, nice. If you want to add a variety here. And then over here are your overrides. Right, so it tells you the base. Uh, override them with custom values. We're not going to do that now. When you're done, you just click save. Now set amount that you get from each plant. Set the shelf life. Now it happens over here. So let's say you have a market line, right? You're gonna set the, let's say 10 kilograms for that window, right? It matches this. Let's say lettuce lasts for 14 days. And you click sync here, and it'll add that to the length that you have the supply for. All right, so we can add multiple market lines. You need to add a label over here so you know what the line is. And then over here, you can enable the CSA. All right, I'm gonna say how many boxes we want to do, start and the end, which is automatically filled in from whatever this was filled in for, but you can adjust it. You can add components. Right now we only have one crop, and so we add another crop, carrots, and we're going to add the crop. All right, so now we got two crops, lettuce, carrot, lettuce. Each person is getting one head every 1 week. And over here, we're going to get this to be a drop down from package, right? So you'd add a package over here. So let's say you do one head equals 0.3. Well, okay, that needs to be changed to float. And they'd set the price over here. This feature isn't complete yet. Bag, and let's say that's 3 kilograms, right? And that's going to be $10. Right, so then over here you'd have a drop down instead of this. So you'd select the unit, and I'd say every 1 week, and then we go down, and now we have select our crops. We can compare our supply with how much we're actually growing. And right now we don't have anything over here. So if you were to, this is going to be filled in automatically from the actual plan. Let's say you got 45 plants growing total. And now you can see you're starting to be able to fill in that demand. So you'd want to match what's out over here to the, I'm busy, thank you. Come back. I can't help you right now, sorry. Sorry, can't help. So now, okay, once we've done that, what we're going to try and do is match the actual plan to match what actually happens to the plan. So you'd say, okay, this is a garden bed. Right now, we're going to go over here and click add new plant group, fit it to our bed, right? And now we right click, we click set schedule, we'd select the plant, and this will also be filtered from what we have in our plan. And so let's say we'd set lettuce, select our variety. Here we can also add variety and edit variety. All right, so we can edit the variety. If we want, we can add variety. We can add plants, edit plants. Then we set the year that starts. All right, this is automatically filled in. Select our method. All right, select our planting date. Over here we have the earliest feasible sow and the last date, so you're going to want to put it in between those. It's automatically set for the earliest date. And then here's the last feasible date. Usually by this point, like that's when the plant dies. So now for this planting, the last harvest is on July. And then this over here, use successions. This is so that you can get a continuous harvest, right? So let's say you wanted to have a 10 kilograms every week for the whole season, so that you would use this feature. And the overlap days, these are harvest overlap. So you do 10 days overlap for each one. And you set your harvest window, right? You're going to give yourself, you know, a week to harvest each one. This is actually going to be removed because we have our targets in plan now. And then the minimum yield multiplier, right? So if you set this for 0.5, you're going to have at the end, you'll have some harvests that are only going to produce half of what they could. So usually you want to set this pretty high, 0.8 or above. Right, so let's set it for 0.9. You'd usually want it for 1, but if you're a risk taker, you can set it for lower. Right, so now we can, whoops, that's not supposed to happen. Current varieties is not defined. What? Excuse me. I must have done something last night. Ha. Actually, I know I did. Anyway, so if you were to click that, right, it would then make the schedule. Got a little bug there. If you go to the tasks, um, you can set your tasks, right? You can edit them. So you can edit the name. You can do 0 days after harvest start because uh, which one are we doing? Doing harvest because harvest is the anchor. This you can select your anchor over here. These are default ones. Use them as your anchors. Set the duration. You can set repeat. So let's say we were to go cancel that. Then you add a task, right? I'll check for pests, right? And then you do start 3 days after germination, right? You set the duration is 1 day, and you'd repeat uh, every week, and then I want to add a repeat until, and then you repeat until another anchor over here. Click save it. All right, if you want to set this as your default workflow, and you do that, and you click OK, and you need to exit. And then what will happen is it will create the tasks over here. So I can't show that to you, but maybe I can show you in a different one. It's open the existing diagram. Here's one I've just been testing things on. So over here, right, so what you'll see is in the Kanban board, you have different lanes. So if you have lots of tasks that are coming up in the next year, you'll have paging over here. Paging, so you can page through it, look at your tasks. And then these tasks will automatically be moved up to do staged. From there, you'll know that they actually need to be done. Put them in to do over here. These are manually managed. Then once you're done, a task will automatically be moved up into archived. All right, so the way that this works is you click on it, it'll show you the nearest upcoming task. All right, it'll show you the nearest upcoming task. It'll point to all the tasks that are over here, and then it'll point to the most recent task in the done section. All right, so let's say you have multiple plantings that are overlapping, right? So let's say you're doing turnovers, right? So now you click over here and you can page back and forth through the plantings. All right, so this would be a bed with two plantings in it. And then you can see how much overlap it has with the last one. Obviously, this isn't actually meant to be like that. I just dragged it into the same one, so it has a very large overlap here. But normally you'd want to make sure this is 0 because you don't want to overlap in your plantings. And then the next feature in the dashboard is you can go through the different years. All right, so now you're on 2027, 2026, 2025, 24, and that's how you move through the years. And you can click the export button and export this dashboard data, which I'm also going to be adding the plan data to it, and you export it to an Excel sheet. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a module, or we're going to set it as a team module. Now what happens here is we can add a role card, right? Add a role card, and prior you were able to click set image and it would open up an image selector so you could add an image for someone. It still needs to be fixed. And so now, let's say you have person A, right? And so they are in charge of this garden plot. So what you would do, you'd select both and you would link selected, right? But that's not exactly what we want because um, this doesn't show that this person is in charge. So what you'll do, so you go here, you mark as primary, and now it marks it as yellow, which you can know is in charge of this. So it's when you click on here, it'll show all the primaries that are linked to it, right? And the nice thing about primary, right? I'll show you in a minute. So if you want to say, oh, person A, boop, goes right back and forth, right? It takes you back and forth. So let's go to 2026. That's another feature that I didn't really show. So here, oh man, so it's like, what needs to be done? I don't remember, right? So other programs what they'll say is, oh, harvest thin lettuce in bed number 27, and you're on vacation. The guy, someone's helping you, and they say, oh, which one's bed 27? Well, here, boop, takes you right to it. And it's like, oh, something needs to be done here. So it's like, oh, we did this last year, right? I'll tell you how many days early or late the task was completed, right? But let's say, oh, which lettuce was harvested at this time? Boom, takes you right to it, right? So that's another really nifty feature. Click on any of them, see exactly where it is, what needs to be done, right? So let's see. Of course, if you want to change a schedule, click change schedule. If you want to change the oh, here's another one. Okay, so here there's no detail, right? But if you want to see exactly how things overlap, you can go like this, right? Because let's say you're doing interplanting, right? To go like this, let's set the plant spacing. Let's change it to 40, right? And let's say this one's at the same 40, right? Let's say these are two different types of plants and they're in the same bed at the same time. So what you can do is you can actually see how they're going to overlap. See? Ta-da! Just like that. Now, next feature, right? Let's say you don't want to see all this detail. Also, it'll start to slow down the program, right? So once you got it set up, you can go like this, and you can collapse them. Oop, and now they're small. So there you go. Now, the next feature we're going to look at. Oh yeah. Now, primary does something very interesting. So let's say we have all of these and we want to link them, right? But we don't want these all linking to each other. We all want these to just be linked to this person. Now this person is set as a primary, and what that does is you do link selected respecting primaries, and now they all only link to this one instead of linking all to each other, which can speed things up a lot. And now let's say we want to unlink all of those. We'll just select them all again. Right click, unlink selected. And now it'll unlink them. And now this one will only be linked back to where we originally placed it. Over here, it also tells you the days to start, and it's organized by soonest. So the most recent upcoming one is in 73 days, which is why it's not in the month column. And so they're all organized like that. So over here, once it's in the to do and active columns, it'll say number of days that are left to complete it. So it'll automatically order itself by priority. Um, Obviously, if we have a hierarchy, which you'd have to have a bigger farm, but you can start adding multiple people here, right? So another thing that I've added is, let's say we go like this. It's supposed to have that right there, and we can go. It's supposed to be like that, and now it'll automatically resize itself. But there's something wrong with that feature. It seems to have regressed. It used to work properly. A lot of things got broken. Um, But now that duplicates it, right? So this person's in charge of that person, so you can start showing hierarchy if you wanted. Um, but another nice thing that I added, and this one does work properly, is that modules now grow and shrink automatically, so there's no manual doing anything like that, which is really, really nice. Um, Now the next thing, oh, this one's pretty useful. All right, so this one's show map panel, right? And over here, we can select change map so we can see when things were changed, right? Most of these things were changed a while ago or not at all. And so you can see all the things that are green were things that have changed now. This is something that I changed a while ago. Important to note is that the metadata that says when things were changed or when things were added will only be active, uh, will only be added to objects if the plugin is added and enabled, right? So here we can now go through them. They're ordered. You can change the order, newest first, oldest first, and go through it. So this is going to have users. There's going to be user selection when people open a file, right? They can select what user they are, add a user, right? So then you can start seeing who's done what. Right now it's just change map and created map. There's also going to be a deleted map. You can change the scope of it, but I don't think it's that useful. You can change how long ago. Ah, that's why we don't see the rest of it. Now you can see these were all changed a while ago. These were changed in the middle, right? So blue was oldest. It goes from blue all the way up through purple, red, orange, yellow, then up to green, right? So you can see how old things are. And see this is somewhere in the middle. You can see nobody's touched this. Go to the changed map, right? And then we can see what's been changed. It is a little bit different. Like let's say we were going to go here and now you see that turned to green because we just edited it. And you see this one has a gray outline because it hasn't been changed since it was added. But now it should go to green eventually. Maybe. Not sure. And of course, the further out you go, it also it changes with according to your zoom, so that when you're close up, it's not overwhelming. When you're far away, you can still see what's going on. Um, and let's see, are there any other features? Right click. And yeah, I think that's everything. Alrighty. Let's see. Oh, we can also set the margins on this. So let's say we want more margin. Go like that. Makes more margin. It only applies to these two sides because the math starts getting kind of funny when you start moving these parts. Just because of the way the diagram editor core works. So I just left it like that. It's good enough like this. No one's complaining. At least not yet. Let me open this and go scroll up. Take that off. Um, Something to note, these numbers are not correct. There's something wrong with the calculation that I did. It's supposed to be about 1/10 of this. Um, yeah, I think that's everything. Oh, and the connections over here, they change color depending on where where things are. So if you go here, right, you can see different colors for different lanes. And so over here, you'll see that you actually have a few different connections, but it's pretty limited. Um, it's because over here, how many tasks are you going to have for one thing going at the same time? You're only going to have one, maybe two, maybe two. And then over here, you'll have one link, and over here, you'll also only see one link. So it keeps things a lot cleaner. Otherwise, it starts getting really messy. Um, Another thing that's on the to-do list is make that a white background so you can actually see it properly. As over here and you see it's on top of other things, it gets a little messy. Of course, if you're over here and make clean it up a little bit, you just go collapse plantings like that. And it'll tell you how many plants are there. This is gonna go. We don't really care about that. Actually, no, we can add that over there. That's fine. Um, yeah, okay, there we go.